So I'll start with a few questions, and then we'll see if the audience has some questions. Obviously, Branko we see as the star of the film, we see your face. Luchka, we don't see your face. Maybe you can explain your role in the film and what you do.
So my role is his wife, and the reason, sorry for my English, the reason why there's just my voice in the film. In the beginning, we have some shooting, some scenes at home, the morning before he leave. But Alberto, the director, decided that to to focus just on his small place, this world of the truck and his inner world. So the family, the outer world is something that comes from the outside, just to give this impression of his loneliness. That's the reason.
And the conversations that we hear, I think there are 3, possibly 4, I think 3, were these actually scripted, or was it a result of you actually calling up Branko and chatting?
The second one, they're live. Direct. But we, of course, we have an agreement before, the 3 of us. We decided what kind of relationship we have, the map, our life map, like family and stuff like that. Then we decided together, I think, 5 themes. And then Alberto, when we shoot these scenes, he didn't know anything. Alberto sent me an SMS or called me, and he just said, "Are you prepared? In 5-10 minutes, call Branko, theme 1, theme 2, theme 3." And he really didn't know anything. And we just know the theme, and then everything was just improvisation.
And Branko, looking at the film, it's as if you really are a truck driver, so you really are living this life. Did you do kind of training as a truck driver? What was the actual level of reality? Because you're obviously doing work and you're doing things. Were you getting paid as a truck driver as well as being paid as an actor?
I supposed to be, but the director, director refused that they were going to pay me. But I've been employed for a year with them, so that I did drive for 3 months. Of course, I'm trained truck driver, because there's no dubbing, there's nothing. I mean, so I passed the exams, and they got this driving license for all these categories that you need, and it was a little bit quicker than it normally happens, because, as they say, normally 3 months at least to pass the exams. I was quite lucky. And there's this trainer said that talented for the truck. So it passed quite quick, so it was okay. And after just jump in the world of trucks and work, and there was no other option than just to do it every morning and work. And the special with it was because I think that this the report between Alberto is everything. Alberto, he was sorry. He was a cameraman, he picked the sound and everything, so he was the producer too, especially in the beginning. He was on his own, because there was quite a few problems with his company, production company, that actually changed in the middle of the shooting. And I think they did the agreement with the company, so Izola Sport, this that they've been working with, or for, it was not very clear. So it was always under the pressure, we must not make the mistake, because otherwise the director, actually the owner of the company, will say, bug off, and just leave the track and come back. So it was quite nasty, lots of work. Especially when you're new one, young driver, you want to prove that you can do it. But maybe later on we're going to speak about it, how it is the politics of this mobility world and stuff.
But the relationship you have with Maki, who is your kind of colleague in the truck, how was it selected that he would be your colleague, or was it random? How was it decided that he would be with you?
Random. No, there was no decision, because when I came to the company, at first you're supposed to drive for 6 months in Skopje and Dublin, no? And we had no time for that. So, but in the beginning, you're supposed just to follow someone, so not drive yet, but just to follow, just to get into this paperwork and stuff. So, and nobody wanted to take me, because all these drivers, they're driving for years and years and years on their own. And as Luchka said, this cabin, this is my kitchen, is my bedroom, is my everything. So now it wants to get someone next to you you don't know. It's not your choice to achieve or to accept someone in your little world. I mean, it's quite difficult. So nobody wanted to take me. And we did wait for Maki. I think he was somewhere in Sweden. I don't know where. But then next he got this cargo or somewhere else. I don't know. I think I spent there for 10 days waiting for him in this bloody sun of Verona. And it's trucks, 250 trucks around this dust, and then, wow, nice beginning. Whoa, let's do that one thing. So finally he came. We didn't know who Maki is, how he looks like, how he thinks, and nothing. And just this genius appeared, because he's great. And as you've seen, in 2 minutes time he just forgot that the camera exists. Now with always this. People who are not used to combination of here and German and stuff, never. And at the same time, it was a little bit difficult because nobody knew that I'm an actor. Nobody has, I mean, that was forbidden. Only the landlord, or the owner of the company, the director of the company, they knew. So that's why they accepted them coming. But all the other truckers were just the new truck driver who come. Alberto did this documentary 2 years before already with a real truck on this one. And the story is based on his story. So he was this professor of mathematics in Split, and then they split. And I wanted to make a joke, haha. So, anyhow, when he came and work, yeah, that's what he's going to do. So that's the story. So all the trackers in the company, they were used to Alberto with his camera, and so that was not a problem.
So they thought you were the subject of another documentary rather than being a top actor of many credits?
No, actually, with Jeffrey is the name of the first truck driver. He never let him into his intimate life, or he would never permit himself to talk against the company or against the directors, because they feed him. So it's, and for Alberto, I think it's 3 months' time for him, it was quite clear that this is not a character he was not would love to explore. So he started to look for an actor. And after that, it just happened that we met. And he said he needs someone man enough to accept that and to do it. And it was our common friend that's really 10, 12 years ago. We did a show in Italy. Actually, after the No Man's Land script, we did the show in Italy. The show in Italy, we've been invited to participate, and our colleague, Andrea Colalino, he was the one, because a friend of Alberto, he said, yeah, I know this mad one. And here he is.
And the scene which is kind of surprising is the scene where the boss asks them to kind of bend the rules and they change the cards and all this. I mean, this is clearly not flattering to the company, that it's suggesting that rules are not being followed. So did the company sort of say, we'd rather you didn't have this little moment of cheating?
There's a few moments that we suppose, or that was supposed to cut it out because it was too heavy. I mean, because even in the legal level, it could be a problem for him, because like all these big companies, he had a few taxes who did not pay and stuff like that. I mean, not a few, a lot. So he was quite afraid. And, I mean, on the one side, this is what I said, that the relation was not clear between the owner of the company and Alberto, because so actually what he decided, it was after the end of the rough cut, he said, "Oh, listen, I don't want to see this and just throw it out." And I said, "Alberto, but listen, who is him? I mean, you have no contract with him, whatever. I mean, what is his power to do?" He said, "Yeah, but just be fair, let's play fair." I said, "Okay, but what's the meaning in the end? If we have everything right, because in the real life of truck drivers, nothing is right. And this is small stuff. I mean, to take the cart out, okay, you will pay the amount, you will pay, I don't know, 2,000 euros, and it's over, it's okay, we should go on." There are other things that are rather dangerous how to drive. And, but in the end of the day, he decided, okay, but just take off all these logos of Eurosport, because I don't want any proof that it is my company. So that's actually what he did. And after the film won the prize in Rome, he said, "No, put it back." That's good. And that's what literally happened. And not just that, because in the meantime he changed the name of the company, so it's legal stuff or unlegal, I don't know what. But so now he has 2 trucks. So I was laughing yesterday again. I said, "Shit, does not exist in this track." I mean, it did not exist. So it's really, so it's fiction. It's not a picture.
But did he change the name of the company because the film won the prize and he wanted to be careful?
I doubt. I think because now he has new company immediately when Croatia got in European community. He opened this consortium. What's it called, in Croatia? He has one in Slovakia, which is very nasty business. And literally, what happens? The truck drivers, they had the Italian contract. They've been paid around 3,000 euros per month. But from one day to another, he opened a new company in Slovakia, so everybody has to change the contract and get the Slovakian contract, which was only 1,560 euros. Same people, the same work, or even harder working, but half of the price. Now in Croatia, I heard that they employed basically Romanians, and they're paid 600 euros for the same stuff, so it's, I mean, I don't need to explain, it's bullshit.
And so the scene where there is the protest and you are pulled off, did you have any idea that this was going to happen?
That's the only thing that we knew that was going to happen. Well, so many stories. Yeah. Yeah, because they volunteered. I think it was around 45 tracks. So the owners of the tracks, they come real track drivers who can participate in this, because it's the same neighborhood where Alberto lives. So they knew for years that he's making the research of this territory and to do the documentary. So with pleasure, they came and did it. So I knew that it will happen. How it will happen, who knows? You know, so it's improv again. But basically, it was sort of I've been baptized this day because Alberto wanted to do this labyrinth. How does labyrinth?
Yeah, like a maze.
Just, I don't know where to go, but you get lost there. I said, "Okay, Branko, now you decide, you know, we narrow what kind of space you need, because we need all these curves and that you never get out, right? If you want me to never get out, I can help you. If you want me to get out, I'm not sure. But we tried, okay, let's do it like that. And all these trackers, you know, behind, he's never going to do it, it's impossible. I was very lucky. I did it, but it was centimeters, you know, just get around, and in the end it was, yes, now you really are. Now you are the truck driver. Just let's drink. Okay, let's drink. It's the end of the day. So it was nice, yeah. And especially what you hear about them, okay, it's very short, because I think it was 120 hours of footage, you know, from which they did this 86 minutes, which for me is madness to do it. Well, they're great. And of course, it was all this rage of this Italian truck drivers rage against everything, against the market, against foreigners, after all, because this is the area that you're taking my bread away, so it's bread, yeah.
Brendan will also be potatoes, you know. But and when Luchka, when obviously when you're delivering your performance, your voice is very clear. But when we hear it in the film, it's always through this kind of distortion because it's coming through telephone and it's going through a computer or something. When you heard your performance, what did you think? Because obviously, you know, as an actress, it's all about clarity of the voice and delivering the voice, and here it's like this distortion. Were you happy with the way it was distorted?
Do you ask me how I feel about this distortion?
Yeah, because as I say, every time we hear your voice, it's always through like a distortion, like electronic, you know.
No, nothing particular, because it was very, very alive, the feeling about the shooting. So I knew that it was on phone. I wasn't surprised. No surprise.
And when you saw the film and you saw the reactions of Branko's face, this must have been
This was
interesting. Especially the Goran, where you've been dancing.
No, I did it.
No, this was fun.
Goran is here, actually, he's behind this.
Where is he?
This was funny. I enjoyed it. Especially this part. No, it was fun to see his reaction, of course.
But you've acted together many times before, or was
No,
this
not many
unusual?
times. No, we worked together, but I don't know why we just met on the stage, but really just meet on the stage and nothing else.
Or even not, yeah.
But when Branko said, I've got this special job which involves driving a truck and all this must have been quite a surprise for you in terms of what
I
actors
was
normally
present
get.
when he met Alberto, and I was like, of course, you must do it. If you feel it, it's something so particular, so special, not just for an actor, but as I know you, I know that you have to do it. And I was happy for him. At the same time scared, because it is particular, 3 months on the road. But okay, we are used to, we are actors, there are periods in our lives that we are separated away from each other, but no, I support him from the first second.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm being sit here all day. Is there a question from the audience, perhaps, for either of our guests? Because obviously, oh yes, we have
Yeah,
one.
maybe just for Luchka, because of this conversation that you have on the phone, and because you are actually also in real life together. When you were doing these scenes, how do you actually went into it as more as an actress and actually doing this as an actress, or did you try to be natural and talking to your husband, or actually try to be natural to talk to a truck driver? I mean, maybe this preparation of this role or something like this. What was your flow?
Both. I try to be natural. Of course, I know him. I know the triggers. But at the same time, I didn't want to be his Luchka, his real life. So it's both. And in a few moments I enjoyed, because I said to myself, oh, I can do something that I'm not doing in the real life with him. Especially with the Goran scene. Yes.
Because the communication is one of the things that the film is about. And I don't know if you know, there's a British film called Lock, in which Tom Hardy is in a car, and the whole film is conversations with his wife and with his mistress and with his boss and all this kind of thing. This film was in Venice last year, so there must be something in the atmosphere about we have technology, but we don't have this face communication so much, so we have to rely on, and everybody now has this Skype where we can call the rest of the world, but it's, you know, again, you were talking about Europe and kind of distances, and the Europe that we see in the film is, you know, we see Nantes, but it could be Perugia, we see Perugia, but it could be, you know, Bremen, you know, there is no sense, you wouldn't look at this and go, wow, Europe, what a beautiful place. This is obviously Alberto's intention to show what Europe is actually like for a working person.
Was it an intention or it just happened? Don't know, because one thing that I really admire, what I love about the movie now is there is a sequence that there are 3 different shots and 3 followed shots. The first one is Hungary, second one is in Sweden, and the third one is in Spain. But there's one sequence that it worked perfectly. So, and at the same time, when we've been driving through Europe, because we literally drive through all Europe, I think we did 43,000 kilometers. I mean, I did it in 3 months. And when you approach the cities, it's always the same. It's always the same corporations, it's this bloody IKEA or Lidl or whatever, and it's the same structure, it's the same architecture, so it's where on earth are we going? There's no face of the cities anymore. Okay, historical centers if you want, but what Alberto said afterwards, he said, yeah, but luckily you should knock down that in 10 minutes because it's just like the House of the Cards, so it's luckily at least that. Only one thing I would like, because my joke did not work, split and splat. Yes, that's what I think this basic issue is, and if Alberto was here, he would surely try to point it out, that what was basically what he wanted to talk about, and he was impressed about is this, let's say, migration of workers, so that there's a man or a person who would like to sacrifice for the family, so he's living family, but at the same time he's losing his family. And this is the destiny of thousands of millions of workers today, so that's basically what he wanted to achieve. All the other things, I think, is rather consequence of that basic issue.
Obviously, there's one of the many themes of the film. I saw the film twice. I saw it yesterday and again today. Yesterday was in the open air, today was in the closed air. And yesterday I thought the film was about a man deciding to leave the job. Today I think differently. I think the film is about a man who realises that he can't leave the job. That's my interpretation. Having the second view, what is your interpretation? Because obviously it's possible to read the film either way.
I think he got stuck somewhere. I don't think that he can make the decision. That's what, because when we saw it for the first time, I said, but should this Branko, this character, be more decided, you know, what he wants to do? Second or third time, I don't know when, I said, yeah, but no, actually, that's good. And we changed the issue in the meantime, because in the beginning, Alberto wanted that Branko, he's driving for 12 years already, which is quite pretending to do it, because I mean, I've been driving for 2 weeks and now I have to make this appearance of 12 years. So in the meantime, we changed it so that he's the beginner. Maybe this is why I said, because Maki is so superior when we are together. And in the beginning, I was afraid that it's not good. I mean, it's obviously that he's the boss of the cabin. After when I accept this, when we changed it, I saw it through this perspective. I said, yeah, it's good, because that's the one who cannot decide. I would say he's Hamlet, but anyhow, he's just between 2 words. Even all this conversation with what was her face? Izola. Izola was her name, wasn't she? Or yours, her. And never has this opportunity or the power to say, listen, bug off. I decided, we talked about that for 10 times. Stop it. No, I think that even in the end is looking, where am I going? I mean, Maki, he has the power to leave and say, okay, bug off, I cannot. I think that Branko is one of them who is go with this nasty flow, so I think this is quite dramatic.
Because of course it's described as Mackie gets out of the car and he says, we're not husband and wife anymore. He says, I'm off to Budapest. So it's like, oh, my wife has left me, you know, now I'm on my own, I have another wife, you know, so it becomes rather complicated. In a nice way.
Yeah, and it's another thing that is a bit complicated, maybe not for you, because you probably don't know this area as much as the domestics do. I'm a little bit sorry that he cut out one of our dialogues when Isa said, listen, but for our community here, it's very important that you are the professor of Slovenian language, because actually we are the part of Slovenian minority in Rijeka. So we are Slovenes living in Croatia, which I'm afraid it's, I mean, in this, our ex-Yugoslavian republics, that's quite a problem, no? Because you cannot sort it out. Why are we talking Slovenian at the same time we're paying by kunas and whoa, it's a bit messy.
That would have been helpful if we had that bit of dialogue. We have to deduce it from your performance that he's from Rijeka and he's a teacher of this, you know. So.
Yeah.
Did you use a Rijeka accent for this, like Slovenian accent?
No.
I thought I heard a little bit of it. Does anybody have another question? Yes, in the middle.
When did the Maki found out that you were back?
On the car ferry, that was almost in the end of his appearance. When we went to Sweden, and there's plenty of time, and all the track planners, he has his own laptop. And why he did it, God knows, or he knows. Branko Chico! Chico, koj kurac stiš, gosti, izbati. Well, what you are, because even that will change. You know, in the beginning, it was that I'm the professor of physical sports, yeah. And after, let's use languages and so on. I said, what kind of professor are you? I told you. Sports, actually, languages, yeah.
You could have said, you know, it's just another Branko Zavrs, it's the same name, and we look the same.
You're too clever. I didn't have this face.
People always mix us up, it's really embarrassing of it.
But the problem on net, you have all these bloody pictures. And it was my face.
But you say, look at this Branko, he looks a bit different.
It's my brother. Branko.
Twins, both called Branko.
Branko.
This is the magic of movies.
Really, but what was quite touchy, I mean, even in the end of the movie, so he left, I mean, we went on our own, but even in the end when we finished, it was in October already, when we met, he said, listen, may I help you somehow, if you're going to take this job, because there's a few things that maybe I have to tell you that I did know before, be careful of these magnets and stuff.
So he thought you were going to become a professional truck driver?
Yeah, it's a situation like all the others. No? Because he's very clever, I mean, he's very quick reactions, but this was quite, as I said, well, it was very touching, because so he got into it, he really got trapped in this lies of creation.
But at that point, did you think maybe I could become a professional truck driver?
Jesus, no. No. I mean, never say never. No.
But the irony is, of course, that if the film continued and then he had to work on this Slovakian contract, he would be maybe better off going back to Rijeka to teach, you know, because the financial impetus of if anybody's earning 3 or 4 times as much doing one job or another, that's a big thing. But if you're only earning a little bit more, you know, so if there was tier part 2, we would suddenly find that he was, you know, making a different decision possibly.
But actually, about driving the track, there was this slight idea that maybe, who knows, but I did talk with the owner of the company. Prikolca, kako se reče prikolca?
Trailer.
Trailer?
Yeah, like
Trailer.
trailer with the car.
What's behind?
Uh-huh.
Is a trailer?
Yeah.
I call it trailer with a track. If he's gonna offer me one, because there's plenty of them. These refrigerators, it does not work, so because it's going to be filled, but it's 7 meters. Oh yeah, and we cover concerts and stuff.
So you'll be driving the truck, stopping the truck, coming to the back, doing King Lear,
Exactly.
and then going back.
Probably not King Lear, but why not? You know, I think the Beckett would be better.
I was going to say Hamlet, but maybe not.
No, that's all. I mean, old Hamlet was about to. Oh, come on. Well, maybe the ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I should do a new Tom Stopper.
Well, Claudius, this could be a good part for that.
Maybe the ghost. Not the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, but the ghost is not dead, actually. Yeah, that's Stopper could write.
Well, this is next year, and Izola will be having a live performance from the back of a truck. So
The ghost is driving the track.
but as long as he has the card, it's okay. If anybody has a last question, please raise your hand, because we have to get the cinema ready for our next exciting film, Costa da Morte, which I can recommend. Otherwise, please join me in thanking our terrific guests today, Lučka and Branko. Thank you.